Well, good morning. I wanted to take a little opportunity to demonstrate a little bit about the use of SharePoint with Chrome, with IE, and with Windows Explorer. Had a brief discussion with Katina yesterday regarding the ITKB and where we're going to be storing a lot of the site visit information and photographs and whatnot. And I thought I'd take a little opportunity to kind of describe some of the tools and techniques that you can use to use SharePoint more effectively. Because when you first start using SharePoint, it's kind of kludgy. And so it takes a little while to kind of navigate through that. I use Chrome primarily simply because all my favorites and shortcuts follow me all over the place from various computers and on my mobile devices. So I actually always start with Chrome. All my, like I said, my bookmarks are in there. But the thing is, you can't really realize the full potential of SharePoint unless you use IE, because true to form, if you want the full functionality of Microsoft products, you have to use Microsoft products. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and open up Chrome here and bring it onto the desktop. Okay, here we have it. I'm going to go into USA West Sites. We'll pick the top level SharePoint. Okay, log on. Katina was nice enough to show me how to follow and add to favorites all my SharePoint sites yesterday. I do appreciate that, Katina. We'll sign in to the Western Territory. Should take us to the top level of SharePoint, and we're gonna be working in the ITKB today, which is right here, IT Knowledge Base. And today I'm just going to be demonstrating a little bit about SharePoint in the ITKB and photos, but obviously we can store a lot of stuff in there: PDFs, Excel spreadsheets, all various types of information, as well as OneNote documents as well. Okay, so here we're in the ITKB. We've got all of these areas we can store stuff, and I'm going to go into the infrastructure team library. A number of us have decided that in the infrastructure team library is something I pulled over from DocuShare, and I think it was on File Manager before that, just called the Site Information Floor Plans. And within that team library, Site Information Floor Plans, we've delineated it into all of the divisions. If you were wondering where this numerology came from, I believe these at one point were NSS numbers. But that's kind of where the numerology came from. But anyway, so today I'm going to be working the THU library. But before we do that, since I want to use the full functionality of SharePoint, we're going to have to copy this URL. I mean, if you can bookmark in IE, God bless you. I just have a hard time doing that because I have to do it in every system that I'm on, which is generally a lot of different systems. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Internet Explorer and bring that over here. So here we have Internet Explorer, and I did a Control-A and Control-C to copy that URL. I'm going to hit Control-V to copy the URL from Chrome back here. It's going to make me obviously log in again because I'm using a different Explorer or browser. So we're logging in. This is exciting. By the way, I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt today in honor of all of our IT staff in Hawaii that probably aren't up yet because it's probably 5:30 in the morning. Okay, so here we have Internet Explorer, we have the ITKB, the Information Team Library, open up in Internet Explorer, and we see all these folders here, and this is wonderful. And today what I wanted to kind of demonstrate a little bit is I'm just going to drag some pictures I took of THQ. I'm going to manipulate them a little bit with a couple of tools that are available to everybody and they're free, and try to drop them into SharePoint. So first thing is, I've got SharePoint up here, but I want to show you a cute little thing. I'm going to go into THQ here. Okay. And there's already some information here. We see some spreadsheets. I believe these are pictures here that say Integra Telecom and THQ Network Layout A. The thing is, in SharePoint, you can't see thumbnails, and that's kind of disappointing. However, there is a trick. I'm going to go full screen here, and I'm going to click on the library button up here. And over here, hidden, is this Open with Explorer. Open this library as a standard Windows Explorer folder. You can drag and drop files into the library, create folders, move and copy files, and delete multiple files at once. And excuse me, once you do that, that's the little trick. So let's go ahead and I click that, and while we're waiting for Explorer to open up, Sometimes it takes a little longer than others. Of course, it opens up another window. Let me drag it over here. So basically now I have in Internet Explorer the SharePoint site opened up, and then I have in just Windows Explorer the SharePoint opened up. So I'm going to minimize this for now. And here we have it. Now we're just in a normal File Explorer window. So some of the limitations you have with the web-based SharePoint, you will not have in Explorer. But the cool thing is here are, I think, some of those pictures. I'm going to go ahead and hit the thumbnail view down here. And lo and behold, I can even see thumbnails of the Visio, for example, down here. Co-location site, I don't know if there's any pictures. Small size, here we go. Let's go ahead and hit thumbnails again. And wow, I'm actually in SharePoint with Explorer. I can see thumbnails. I can open them up in Windows Photo Viewer, and I can just kind of browse through them. I think this is pictures of the data center when we first powered it up some time ago. So that's just wonderful. So yes, you can't see thumbnails in SharePoint unless you open it up in Windows Explorer, not Internet Explorer. So just be mindful of that. So if you're trying to find things and just kind of peruse what's out there, oftentimes go into SharePoint, find the library you want, then open it in Explorer, and then you should be able to have all the functionality of your normal regular Windows Explorer. Okay, this is wonderful. So I'm going to go back to Sites and Floor Plans. I'll go to List Mode, I think. There we go. Wonderful. Okay, so here we have it, and you'll notice in the in the line up here it says C users Randy Hahn SharePoint T. I don't know how it figures that out. There's a little S over here, but if it works, it works. So that's wonderful. Okay, so now I've got some photographs that I took at THQ that I want to upload to SharePoint. And let me pull those over here. They're under my Photos New file. Obviously, I need to file these. Here I have some in THQ. And here are all these photographs. I just take these with my cell phone, and that's generally what most of you are going to be doing. But if I go into details, you'll notice that all these files, all these photographs are like 5, 6 meg each. If any of you have ever tried to email more than 1 or 2 pictures, most email systems won't allow more than 10 megabytes of attachment. Sometimes I think in notes we might have said 25, but basically 1, 2, or 3 files and you're dead. You can't send anything more because they're just too stinking big. And we really don't need that high of a resolution or that high of a granularity. I mean, we're not publishing a New York Times article. We just want a picture of where we've been and what's happening there. So a couple things first I thought I'd share with all of you is these were named, obviously I took it with an Android phone, so it has the date, the year, the month, the date, and some number, maybe the time in seconds. I have no idea what that is. Just some numerical number. Well, that doesn't say too much. I'm going to go into icons here, and I'm going to kind of look at all these pictures here. Yeah, there they are. It's a THQ data center. I generally take pictures of the data center every time I'm down there so that I can tell what's changed over time. And sometimes I have to refer to things and ask people to unplug things and plug them back in. And if I can open up a picture of that and say, hey, open up this, for example, look on the back of the ADTRAN and go to the second ADTRAN unit and go to port number 2 where it says T1 ISDN PRI and unplug that and plug it into the first port. That's just very helpful to be able to do that. Okay, so that's why we take photographs. I'm going to go back to list mode or to detail mode here, and we see all these pictures here. The thing is, these are all THQ taken on 2015-10/26. Well, I'd like the word THQ Data Center to be in there somehow. So here's a cool little thing. Some of you may know this, some of you may not. In Windows Explorer, you can select a group of pictures. I'm going to start at the bottom and go to the top. I'm going to hit the F2 key, and it pulls up the edit file name window. I'm going to go to the beginning and say THQ Data Center. I'm going to leave the date there because I always like the date in the picture. The file number I don't care because you'll see what happens as soon as I hit enter. And I've selected about 38 items. It says 210 megabytes. I hit enter. Lo and behold, it renames all the photographs, all 38 at once, THQ Data Center. I'm not going to get as granular as saying rack 1, rack 2, rack 3. You can if you wish. I just kind of want to know it's THQ Data Center because when we go to search for things in SharePoint or in Explorer, at least if you have the name of the site, it may be THQ 4th floor, maybe THQ 1st floor, maybe Intermountain DHQ 4th floor boardroom. If you're looking for boardroom, or THQ or Intermountain, at least you'll be able to find it based on that. So always give it some just generic name. I like to leave the date on it just so I know when the picture was taken. I mean, we can actually look at the size here. It says 10/26/15. And that's, I guess that date is correct, but sometimes in Explorer, the dates get changed when you move and copy files around. So anyway, so we've renamed all those files. Still, we have a problem. The files are huge, okay? So on the release drive, you'll find something under applications called PhotoResize. And in there is just a little exe. It's not an installation program. All you do is drag it and you stick it someplace on your computer. In this case, I want to minimize these windows. I've drug it and I've stuck it right on my desktop. I always keep this on my desktop just because it's convenient. And I'm going to show you a desktop view of this. Here's the desktop folder in Explorer, and here's what it is: PhotoResize, and it has a number 1200.exe, 298 kilobits. This little number, when you name PhotoResize, I don't know how long I've had this program. If you want it 300 pixels per inch, 1200 pixels per inch, 2400 pixels per inch, it'll resize that photo based on the name that program ends in, which is really cool. I started with 300 and 600, but I found that about 1200 is about the best size to keep most of the resolution you need. And you can zoom in a lot, and I'll show you the difference here when we're done here. But the beautiful thing about this is it's just an icon on your desktop. It's actually an exe. And the way you use this to resize it, you don't click on it. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this, and I'll pull up the other window here. Here's all my pictures. Okay, I'm going to go into list mode so we can see them all. I'm hit Control A to select all the pictures, and watch. I'm just going to drag all these pictures. I'm just going to drop them on PhotoResize, and it's going to open up a window, and I'm going to have to drag it over here really quick so you can watch it happen. So here it's going through, and it's resizing all the photos to 1200 dots per inch. It doesn't take very long. I think the limit is like 100 photos at one time, maybe 120. If you try to go over that, it's going to say I can't do more than 100 at a time. So you just select groups of hundreds. So anyway, it's resized that, and that's it. And you'll notice it has created a new file with the -1200 after each file name. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into details again. I'm going to sort by size, and all my fat files are up here at the top. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom one. I really don't need those anymore, but I will because the ones that it compressed to these smaller sizes are just as clear. I mean, that is really clear, but it's only 100K and not 5 or 6 meg. And if you'll notice, some of these, when you're taking pictures, especially in the field, it's always nice that you clean them up just enough. And what I mean by just enough is just make sure they're rotated properly, so that we don't have to figure out which way is up, because you probably know which way is up. Sometimes it's kind of confusing. So I've got my finger on the right arrow button, and I've got my mouse on the rotate button. So as I go through the pictures, if I need to rotate, I just click the right number of times. That's a crappy picture. We'll delete that. Oh, there we've got Steve. Okay. That's terrible. That's not a very good picture. So I'm just going through 38 pictures here, rotating as I need, rotating as I need to. Right side up. And they're all rotated correctly. Okay, so here we have all of our lovely photos. They all have this 1200 behind them, which is fine. I don't really care. They say THQ Data Center 2015 1026. That's good. That's wonderful. Resort by name. That's even better. I'll hit Control A. So we have taken about, oh my gosh, I'm thinking about 200 mega files, maybe more. We've shrunk them down to less than the size of one photograph, 4.32 megabytes, 35 files. That is absolutely beautiful. So now we have our photos fairly clean. It didn't take us very long, just a couple of minutes to clean those things up. I use a program on my Android phone called Drive Sync. I mean, every phone has some kind of Drive Sync thing. Mine syncs it up to my Google Drive, and I told it to put it into my photos, new, And then I think I moved this around, and I think it sets it under like, oh, here it is, Randy's S6. So anything new I take, as soon as I get to Wi-Fi, it basically uploads those photos to Google Drive using this Drive Sync. And I went ahead and paid the $1.99 for the real version that will upload any size file, which is totally appropriate. And so when you take a file, when you take a picture, bang, they're up there in the cloud. You lose your phone, pictures are safe. Wonderful. God bless America. So anyway, there we have it. I'm going to go back into File and to THQ, and here's all our photos that we need to file away. They're all at 1200 DPI, anywhere from 51K to 200K, but they're not 6 megabytes, folks. That's a beautiful thing. Okay, so now let's go ahead and open up that SharePoint Explorer window. Let's see where I have that, where I put him down here. Okay, here's THQ All Documents. Now here's the THQ SharePoint file, and I think I may have closed the Explorer window, or did I? Let me go ahead, and I'm just going to hit open with Explorer again. Sometimes this takes a while. I apologize for the speed here. I've switched to a DSL line, so I have a blazing 7 meg by 800K window right now, or connection. Ah, there we go. Wonderful. I'll go to list view down here. So here is our IT knowledge base site information for THQ folder in SharePoint, as you can see here. It's kind of funny the way it looks, the way Explorer shows this, but you can see it up here. I am going to create a new folder, and rather than the new in SharePoint clicking the new and folder, I'm just going to click the Explorer new folder, and this was 1025. No, it was 2015 10/25, I believe was the date. I'm going to create a folder with that date. So I know that anything in this folder hopefully was labeled correctly, was taken on 10/25. So I'll drag this over here. I'll shrink this guy a little bit. I'll pull up our other folder. Here he is. And here's all our photos that we took in my file. And hit Control A to select them all. I'm just going to drag them over to this folder. And look, they pop up immediately in SharePoint. However, if we come over here, and I do not see the folder I created in Explorer yet because I think I have to refresh. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the refresh button here, to right here. And it's refreshing the site. We have the little circle of death. And hopefully we will see, as soon as paint dries, the folder we created, and we'll go into that folder and see how many photos have shown up. There it is, right there at the top. 2015 10/25. We created that in Explorer. It's showing up in SharePoint. I'll double click on that. Working on it. And it's got about a dozen folders in here. So as you see, it looks like it's uploading. I'm going to go back to my other folder. I'm going to go up one level. And it's kind of hard to tell, but you can see a little sync button here. The little turning wheelie arrow thing, whatever you call that thing. And so obviously it's syncing that. In Explorer, it copied them right away. But in the background, obviously, it's syncing them up to SharePoint, which is great. So I've got here about, 10 files here. I'm going to hit refresh again up here. Watch paint dry for a little while. And voila, wow, we're up to quite a few files now. So slowly but surely, it is synchronizing those folders in my Explorer. So obviously, you can't copy those over and then shut down your computer. You kind of have to give it a little bit of time, and probably have to watch that little sync button to make sure it finishes its job. Now it says green now, which means obviously synchronized. There's probably some kind of OneDrive for business or something operation going on in the background with bits or whatever they use to synchronize files and whatnot. But anyway, it's done. And so in just a short period of time, if you're out there taking photographs of things and other things that you might collect, you can get your files, into the cloud someplace, onto your local computer, name them, rotate them a little bit, shrink them down to an appropriate size, and then just upload them to SharePoint. And I encourage you, unless you're really doing some kind of a graphic arts thing that you really shrink them down, there's just really no reason. to put 5 and 6 meg photos up there. All it's going to do is frustrate people when they go in there and to try to open a photo, because it's, depending on their connection, it's just going to take forever. So for example, here I am in the SharePoint folder. If I click on one of these photos, double click on it, and SharePoint opens it really quick, actually. If it was a 5 meg file, you'd be sitting there watching the little circle of death that Microsoft loves to show you while it's taking a long time to open something. Okay, so there we go. So as I said, the Open with Explorer option is only available in IE. For you Mac users, I don't think Safari is going to support that. I don't think Macs have Explorer, but I might be wrong. But the PhotoResize and some of the other little tricks, the F2 to rename a lot of files, I'm sure there are plenty of Mac tools out there readily available that can do things much better than these Windows programs, for example. And I'm sure they're all free. So, you know, just knock yourself out, you guys. So for those Mac users, Tim and Ken, you know, good luck. But for rest of you that are in the Windows world, here's just a couple of tools that are kind of fun to use SharePoint, to take photos, to resize them, and to move them and manipulate them and see thumbnails up in SharePoint folders. So that's basically it. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. I'm going to post this video on SharePoint, and I will also post a little note, a link to the release drive where that PhotoResize program is. But hopefully that'll get everyone kind of on your way to kind of using SharePoint a little bit better and more effectively, and not being quite as frustrated as I have been for a number of months, if not years, with SharePoint. But anyway, that's all I have. So everybody have a great day. If you have any questions, just shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to respond. All right, folks, have a great day. Bye-bye.